Welcome to Spiral Drillers. This training video will take you to various sites. We'll show you different foundations that we do as Spiral Drillers, screw piles, drill piles, etc., driven piles. So we'll go around those sites, give you a little overview of what we do and how we do it safely.
This is our toolbox meetings that we do before we start work every morning. Some days we do it every day depending on the job, depending if we've got new guys coming on to site and what have you. So yeah, basically today we sit down, we talk about all the hazards that are associated with the work we're doing so that they can understand where the problems lie, where hazards could lie and what have you. If someone doesn't understand, it normally gets brought up in the toolbox meeting. So it's basically an understanding so that everyone knows what we're doing, everyone works safe and everyone's aware of all the hazards that are involved in the job for the day.
So this is a hole surround. It's a requirement so that the hole is safe, people can't fall down it, engineers can lean on it, look over it, look down the hole without any risk of falling down. Okay, so we've finished drilling the hole now. It's the depth. We're going to remove the hole surround and put a hole cover over it so that it's safe until the time of concrete pouring. Okay? So that's safe now. No one's going to have any chance of getting down that hole until we're pouring it. It might be 3 or 4 hours later, but that's safe now. If someone can get down that, they're doing pretty well. Okay, what we've got here behind me today on this side is a fixed mast drilling rig. You can see the set of rails there, guiding the killy bar with the drill on the end. More accurate way of doing foundations, easier to adjust, easier to keep on a line. So this one here can go to 26 metres deep. We've got smaller, we've got bigger ones, but that's what we're looking at today. What we're using here is casings because the ground is so soft. As you can see, it's a mess. The casing keeps the hole open, but we also make sure that the casing is about 1 metre longer than we need so that it stands up like this does. It's a protection for the hole, for the safety of the guys. There's no risk of slipping or sliding into the hole. You won't find that on every site. Some sites it's required, some sites it's not. Some we just have a hole cover. So that's one option of taking care of the guys, really, makes it safety.
So this is a Beachland's job. The job is a palisade retaining wall that's buried below ground. So the finished product won't be finished, but it's still important that we do it to our best capabilities and everything's done properly. The machines that we have on site, one's a 12-ton excavator. They'll be used for mainly bulking out the dirt that's drilled out of the holes into a truck. It's driven by one of our own drivers and dumped off to a site. The other machine that is on site is a 20-ton Komatsu digger. They'll be used solidly for drilling, lifting cages. And the reason we'll be using the 20-ton digger is because the depth of the holes is 11.2 metres from ground level. So they're quite a deep hole for a digger to drill. Another big thing that we had to do before we even started work was put in a silt fence right along the back section of the property down by the bank, and plus put protective barriers around a Pahutakawa and cabbage tree. We're not allowed within the drip line, which is 3 metres from the trunk on Pahutakawa, or within the drip line on the cabbage trees. On a job like this, you've always got to remember that you're up against elements of weather. The ground, as you can see, has already started to collapse over on the bank line here, and we're not 100% sure exactly what the ground would be like where we're working. So even though we're drilling, we've still got to be sure that our footing's safe, our co-workers are safe, and that the holes that we drill stand up, because it is quite sandy soil that we're working in. When it comes to doing the concrete, we'll be using a pump that will be set up by a sub-pumpy. Our concrete will be supplied by Bridgman. We'll be placing cages in the holes and then pump through the top of the cage right down the centre so that the concrete doesn't hit the side of the cages and segregate or separate. Fill the cages to 100 ml above the top of the cage, and then it will be filled on top of that once the concrete is set with topsoil and some grass seed, so it looks eventually like we haven't been here.
is the Vibro power pack. We've got all the gauges here, start switches, clamp open, close, governor, which is revving up the motor, drive, go, stop, pretty much. Also we've got this pendant, which has also got the raise and lower engine revs, open close clamp, and Vibro on and off. So I can be standing over with whatever's happening. While operating, I'm always looking at the crane operator and with the guys on the ground that are around the pile, making sure that my gauges are alright, making sure that the load and the condition good.
Okay, so what we're doing here is another sort of foundations that we do. It's not drilled concrete pile, this is a screw anchor pile. It's a single shaft with a flight on the bottom, screwed in at the rate of pitch on the one flight. Engineer tells us what size flight, what size shaft, depending on his loading. We screw them in with a digger, like you see behind me here, to a torque setting that he gives us, and from that he can tell what loading he's got from each pile. So it's a different sort of pile that we do from the standard drilled pile. We leave the pile on the ground, they're screwed in. Then the builder or one of our engineers will cut that pile off to the height that they want, which is into the bottom of the house footing. From there they'll put a boxing or a footing right around the house and build on top of those piles. Yeah. So they do the same job as a standard pile, just they have advantages. One advantage is there's no ground or soil removed from site. You just screw in through them. If the ground is contaminated, we don't need to disturb it. We can just wind down through it. So that's a huge plus for screw anchors. Thank you for looking at our safety video, following us around, giving you a bit of an overview. Let's just go out there, try and do it efficiently and try and do it safely, eh?
Spiral Driller Civil.